Let's take a full journey through one of the most influential personal development books ever written. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Published back in 1936, this book has stood the test of time for a reason. It's not just about getting people to like you. It's about learning the timeless principles of human connection, influence, and leadership. The book is divided into 4 major parts, each packed with practical, real-world strategies.
Hey everyone! Today, I'm going to break down part 1 of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This part is all about the fundamental techniques in handling people, and trust me, these ideas are powerful. So let's jump in. First principle: don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Now I know, sometimes it feels like calling someone out is the only way to fix things. But Carnegie says that criticism usually just makes people defensive. It hurts their pride, and instead of changing their behavior, they try to justify it. Think about it. Even famous criminals like Al Capone thought they were doing the right thing. So if we want to influence people, starting with judgment is the wrong move. Instead, try to understand them. Be curious, not critical. Second principle: give honest and sincere appreciation. This one's big. People crave appreciation. Not fake flattery, but real, sincere recognition. Carnegie says it's one of the deepest human needs. Just a few kind words can completely change someone's day, or even their life. Managers, teachers, parents, anyone can boost morale and inspire others just by noticing the good and saying it out loud. But remember, it has to be genuine. People can always tell the difference between flattery and real praise. Third principle: arouse in the other person an eager want. Okay, here's the key to persuasion. Don't just tell people what you want, figure out what they want, and show how your idea helps them get it. Carnegie gives a simple example. When you go fishing, you don't use strawberries because you like them. You use worms because the fish like them. Same goes for people. If you want someone to say yes, speak in their language. Whether it's your kids, coworkers, or customers, ask yourself, what's in it for them? So, quick recap. 1. Don't criticize. 2. Give sincere appreciation. 3. Talk in terms of what the other person wants. These 3 principles might sound simple, but they really are the foundation for better relationships in every area of life. Let's dive into part 2 of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This section is called 6 Ways to Make People Like You. And really, it's all about building genuine connections with others. If you want to be someone people naturally enjoy being around, this is where it starts. Principle 1. Become genuinely interested in other people. Carnegie says, the fastest way to make friends is to stop focusing on yourself. Instead, shift your attention to them. People can always tell when you're being fake. So don't pretend to care, actually care. Ask questions. Be curious about their story. Find out what excites them. Carnegie reminds us, everyone likes to feel interesting. And when you show real interest in someone, that's what makes you unforgettable. Principle 2. Smile. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful tools we have. Carnegie says, your smile is a symbol of goodwill. It's the easiest way to show someone you're happy to see them. And it's contagious. People can hear it in your voice, and feel it in your presence. A warm smile tells people, without a single word, I like you. I'm glad you're here. Principle 3. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language. Dale Carnegie emphasizes this. Our names are deeply tied to our identity. When someone remembers your name, it makes you feel valued. So if you want to make someone feel important, remember their name. Use it when you greet them. Say it during conversation. Don't overdo it, but do make the effort. It shows you care, and it sets you apart. Principle 4. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Carnegie says, most people aren't really listening. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. But when you listen, truly listen, you make people feel heard. And that's rare. So ask open-ended questions. Let them share their experiences. Don't interrupt. Don't rush to respond. Just be present. If you can do that, people will leave the conversation thinking you were the most interesting person in the room. Principle 5. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. This one is about finding common ground. Carnegie says, if you want to win someone over, talk about what they care about. Don't lead with your own passions. Start with theirs. Is it sports? Music? Family? Travel? Whatever it is, make the conversation about that. People light up when they get to talk about what excites them. And when you show that you're paying attention, they remember it. Principle 6. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. Carnegie wraps up part 2 with a powerful idea. Everyone wants to feel important, not in an arrogant way, but in a human way. The key is to be genuine. Don't flatter. Don't fake it. Instead, find something real to appreciate. It could be someone's work ethic, their kindness, their creativity, whatever it is, point it out. Now let's get into part 3 of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This section is called How to Win People to Your Way of Thinking. And this is where things get interesting. Carnegie shows us how to influence others, without creating tension, arguments, or resistance. It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding human nature, and using that to lead conversations in a more positive direction. Principle 1. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Carnegie is very clear on this. Even if you win an argument, you lose. Because the other person usually ends up feeling embarrassed, resentful, or defensive. Nobody likes being told they're wrong. So instead of debating, look for common ground. Find ways to agree, to listen, and to guide the conversation forward. Carnegie says, avoid arguments the way you'd avoid potholes. They'll slow you down and damage relationships. Principle 2. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." This might sound hard, especially when someone is wrong. But Carnegie reminds us, saying, "You're wrong," instantly puts people on the defensive. Instead, try phrases like, "I see it a little differently," or, "That's interesting, let's explore it together." By keeping things respectful, people stay open to your perspective, instead of shutting down. Principle 3. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. This one's simple, but powerful. When you mess up, own it. And don't just admit it quietly, do it with enthusiasm. Carnegie says, when we take responsibility, we surprise people. They let their guard down. And instead of arguing, they often respond with kindness, or even take your side. It shows maturity. And it earns trust. Principle 4. Begin in a friendly way. Tone matters. A lot. Carnegie says, if you want someone to listen, start with warmth. Don't charge in with complaints or demands. Begin like you would with a friend. Calm, kind, and respectful. Because if you start off cold or aggressive, the walls go up. But if you begin in a friendly tone, people are more likely to hear what you have to say. Principle 5. Get the other person saying, "Yes, yes," immediately. Carnegie calls this the yes set. If you can get someone agreeing with you, even on small things, it builds momentum. It puts both of you on the same team. So instead of starting with differences, start with agreements. It makes it easier to work your way toward common goals. Principle 6. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. People don't like being lectured. They like being heard. Carnegie says, if you want to influence someone, don't dominate the conversation. Ask questions. Let them share their ideas. Listen more than you speak. When people feel heard, they're more open to hearing you. Principle 7. Let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. This is one of Carnegie's smartest tips. If someone feels like they came up with the idea, they're much more likely to commit to it. So instead of saying, "Here's what I want you to do," try saying, "What do you think would work here?" Or, "How would you approach this?" guide the conversation, but let them own the solution. Principle 8. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. This is about empathy. Carnegie says, if we can truly see the world through someone else's eyes, we'll understand why they act the way they do. And once we understand their perspective, we can respond in a way that builds connection, not conflict. It's not about agreeing with everything. It's about understanding where they're coming from. Principle 9. Be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Sometimes people just want to know you get them. A simple phrase like, "I can see why you'd feel that way," can instantly soften tension. Carnegie says, when people feel understood, they stop fighting and start listening. Principle 10. Appeal to the nobler motives. People like to think of themselves as honest, fair, kind, even when they're not being their best. So Carnegie says, appeal to that higher version of them. Say things like, "I know you're someone who cares about quality." Or, "I admire how you always want to do the right thing." People want to live up to the image you paint. So give them something good to reach for. Principle 11. Dramatize your ideas. Facts are important, but stories and emotion make ideas stick. Carnegie suggests using examples, metaphors, and visual language. Make your ideas vivid and memorable. Because people don't just remember what you said, they remember how it made them feel. Principle 12. Throw down a challenge. This one taps into motivation. Carnegie noticed, people love a good challenge. When you give someone a goal to beat, a record to break, or a problem to solve, they step up. So instead of ordering someone to do better, say, "Let's see if you can top this." Or, "I bet you can do this faster than anyone else." It makes it a game. And that brings out the best in people. So to sum it all up, here are the 12 ways to win people to your way of thinking. Avoid arguments. Never say, "You're wrong." Admit when you're wrong. Begin in a friendly way. Get them saying, "Yes." Let them do most of the talking. Let them feel the idea is theirs. See things from their point of view. Be sympathetic. Appeal to noble motives. Dramatize your ideas. Throw down a challenge. Carnegie's message is simple. You can influence people without pushing them. You can guide a conversation without controlling it. And the best way to win others over is to genuinely care about them. Now let's move into part 4 of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This final section is titled, Be a Leader: How to Change People Without Giving Offense or Arousing Resentment. This part is especially useful if you're in a position of leadership. Whether you're a teacher, a manager, a parent, or simply someone who wants to guide others in a more effective, respectful way. Carnegie shows us how to correct people, how to offer feedback, without damaging the relationship or crushing motivation. Principle 1. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. Carnegie says, always start with something positive. If the first words out of your mouth are criticism, people shut down. But when you begin by acknowledging what someone is doing well, you create a safe space. It shows respect. It softens the ego. So before you offer any correction, say something genuine like, "I really appreciate your attention to detail." Or, "You've been doing a great job on this part." Then, and only then, move into the area that needs improvement. Principle 2. Call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. This means, avoid blaming, pointing fingers, or using harsh language. Instead of saying, "You did this wrong," Carnegie suggests using gentler language like, "Hey, this might be something to double-check." Or, "There may be a better way to do this." It's about guiding, not scolding. When people don't feel attacked, they're more open to fixing the mistake. Principle 3. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Carnegie says, if you've made a similar mistake before, bring it up. It puts you on the same level as the other person. Say something like, "I remember doing the exact same thing once." Or, "I've made this kind of error before myself." It removes judgment from the conversation. And it turns the feedback into a shared experience, not a lecture. Principle 4. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. This one's about inviting cooperation. Carnegie suggests, instead of saying, "Do this," ask, "What do you think about trying it this way?" Or, "Could we maybe look at this approach?" Questions feel collaborative. Orders feel controlling. And when people feel like they're part of the decision, they're much more likely to follow through. Principle 5. Let the other person save face. This is a powerful one. Carnegie reminds us, nobody wants to feel humiliated. Even if someone makes a major mistake, don't embarrass them in front of others. Don't belittle or shame them. Help them recover with dignity. Because how you treat someone at their lowest moment, that's what they'll never forget. Principle 6. Praise the slightest improvement, and praise every improvement. Be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. Carnegie says, when people make progress, even small progress, celebrate it. Encouragement fuels motivation. When you recognize effort, it grows. Don't wait for perfection. Praise the steps along the way. Let people know they're moving in the right direction. Principle 7. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. This is all about setting a positive expectation. Say things like, "You've always been someone I can count on." Or, "I know you take pride in your work." When people hear you describe them in a positive light, they often try to live up to that image. You're not just giving them a compliment. You're giving them a standard to rise to. Principle 8. Use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. If something needs to be fixed, don't make it sound like a massive failure. Instead, say things like, "This is something we can easily clean up." Or, "With a few tweaks, this'll be great." Carnegie says, if you make the task feel manageable, people are more willing to do the work. But if it feels overwhelming or like a personal flaw, they'll resist or give up. Principle 9. Make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. This is the art of motivation. Carnegie says, help the person see how your suggestion benefits them. Make it feel like a win. You could say, "I think this will help you shine even more." Or, "Doing this will really show your leadership." The goal is not to manipulate, but to align the task with their goals, their pride, or their values. So to sum up, here are the 9 leadership principles for changing people without causing offense or resentment. Begin with honest praise. Point out mistakes indirectly. Talk about your own mistakes first. Ask instead of ordering. Let them save face. Praise every improvement. Give them a great reputation to live up to. Encourage, and make change feel easy. Make them happy to do what you suggest. Carnegie's big message in this part is clear. You don't have to push people to change. You can lead them, with kindness, with encouragement, and with respect. Because when people feel valued, they're far more likely to grow.
And that's a wrap on How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Whether you're trying to build stronger relationships, become a better leader, or simply connect with people on a deeper level, these principles are timeless. If this summary gave you something to think about, imagine what applying even one of these ideas could do in your daily life. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more book breakdowns just like this. Got a favorite takeaway? Or a moment where Carnegie's advice made a difference for you? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know what other books you would like to hear a breakdown of. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being the kind of person others are glad to know.